So continuing on our journey, today we'll be doing some JavaScript, like some JavaScript problems, and let's see. So the first problem we have is basically create a function make counter that returns a counter object. So this has to return a counter object with methods to increment, decrement, reset, and counter. The counter should maintain its current value and provide this operation. So what he's saying is create a function make counter that returns a counter object. So I have to return an okay, so this counter is so the return value of this function is going to be, so let's have VS Code open. Let's yes. Let's open any, I don't know if I do have yeah, let's go in code itself. Well, let's write here itself. It's not going to make, yeah, so we have script.js open. Okay, yeah, I don't want the timeline to come. Let's say we have script.js, and then so first is what we need to do is we need to return an object, right? So object will be like this. And then now I create a function that returns a counter object with methods to increment, decrement. Now if you see a normal way we define an object is, so if you go, you say let object, and then we say this is basic key and values, right? So this is say some key, and then this is say some value. So it's that key and value pair that we let's have this say 100. So if I do console, or the thing is yeah, this is because it is watching it. So console yeah, let's have terminal open. Let's do, and let's say this is console.log, and then say let's say this is object dot key. So now let's so let's go to let's go to, which is this folder, assignment 4, maybe assignment 5. So we are in assignment 5. Let's start. Let's do node script dot. So now it's the way this is basically an object, right? So where key is the property and number is the, so similar lines we need to return an object. Now return the counter object with methods to increment, decrement, and reset the counter. The counter should maintain the current value and provide these operations. So if I do counter dot something, okay, so first let's see. So the first thing is we are going to return an object, and then we need to have the, so this is going back as an object, and then I'm going to do, so which is going to get stored in counter, right? And then I need to have methods to okay, so this is initial value. This is already in this scope. So the counter should handle negative value. Counter should not expose its internal value, and encapsulation method should be chainable. Okay, so if I say increment, so let's have a, so let's say I have a function here. This is, or the limit. The thing is, this has to be an exact match. Increment, and then what is this going to do is, so this is going to return the initial value, right? So I'm going to just add initial value. So let's do an increment. Then I have something called as decrement. So if we do a decrement again, this is So what's the error? Oh, expected a comma. So remember, these are objects itself, right? So function is an object. Uh, this itself is a object. So this is basically functions. Wait. Oh, so this is something like a ES6 shorthand, right? So the key, we need a key and a value, right? The key is going to be, or you could have a key value as well. So what is going to happen is the the value, it's a syntactic sugar, right? So instead of writing square, you okay, yeah, just let it be as, if I, you can have the key as say increment, or then the, yeah. So what I can, there is one more way. You, if you're designing, if you want to have that key value thing, you can say this is increment, and then say this is function, and then say this is, and then say return initial value. So again, that key is going, just so the counter is going to be that object, and then I have to call, so decrement, and then okay, yeah, this, so the key values are separated by comma, so you can doing, oh yeah, now let's put this comma here so that the next line I have the, so you do increment, and then write function, and then call it say return initial value minus minus. This is going to be for decrement. Now reset resets the counter to the initial value. Oh, what's the okay? So let's reset it to initial value. Let's have a, let's say a counter variable, and then resets the counter to its initial value. So either, so this is also the same scope as this is. So it's wait, but then yeah, the initial value is going to, I missed a comma here, so I can do return, and then I can do in, oh, but then here I, there's no return, right? So this is going to result, okay, it's going to do initial value equal to, so if I call this, let's see, let's try calling it. So let's go, let's just copy, let's go to our, okay, so let's paste this thing here. Now what we are going to do is, so we are going to say okay, let's say let counter, right, and then I'm going to have make count, oh, let's call make counter, and let's pass and say some initial value, which is so that is already parameterized, so it's okay, there's no need to pass anything. And then what we are going to do here is oh, so, and then let's do, let's console.log and see the counter itself. So if you console.log of counter, This will be that object which is going to come. This will contain that entire object, I believe. Let's do clear on, and then let's node. Yeah, so this is, see, remember, this is the object which is coming in. Now what we need to do is we need to oh, this is 2 times, right? Let's say this is decree. Oh, no, something underscore decrement. Let's do clear on. Let's say, let's run. Yeah, so I have 3 functions here, right? Now what I can do is, so now let's say counter dot, let's increment it once, and let's again increment it again. Those should be chainable, right? So the moment I increment it, okay, let's see if the single increment is going to work. Yeah, he wants it to be changed, right? You can change up. So for example, I should be able to chain it, is what he's trying to do, right? So uh is this chainable? Oh, so he's passing this value 5 here. But then where is this value? So but then there is another parameter which is coming in here, and that is set as 0. What if we do this as counter, and then, because if I pass in 5, I should get 6 as the output. Am I getting 6 as the output here? Okay, let's say if I do say make counter, and then if I say I call this let's go back to that and see whether I'm able to get that. So if I increment, uh, let's console log this out so that okay, now let's see. Let's run. So what I'm getting is 0 here, because this is an override which is going to happen, I guess. If I pass in say 5, and now, yeah, it's still going to be 0, because this is, so the local value here is 5, right? I need this 5 to comes in somewhere. Maybe we need a parameter here that comes in, because then it's technically wrong, right? I mean, it's not. Or the chaining action, we'll see that, but let's see whether the normal thing is going to work, because but then yeah, so I need to have something coming in here as well. So let's just suppose this is value, and then instead of having incrementing this to initial value, right? Let's just increment this initial value for the timing and see whether this is working. And then let's set here, or even here we need a parameter value, right? And okay, so we are not directly returning, we have to have a local. So this is a counter. So what we are going to do is we are going to increment value and say counter is that value plus plus. Instead of returning here, we will say return counter back. Wait, so let's say this is counter, so value minus minus, and then let's return. So right now, what is, and then here this is going to be default, right? So here is when we set it to initial value. Now I guess, now let's see. There's a reference error at W. What is this? Oh yeah, let's get rid of this. So I'm getting not a number as the answer. Why? Oh, this is correctly coming in as the object. That is correct. This thing is not correct, right? Because so how should I pass in a value? Something has to change in here in this. The reason being this phi. So because uh, so this counter as an object, right? So it is increment, and then how to take that as a parameter? Because yeah, there has to be a parameter which is coming in, right? Yeah, we need to add a parameter to increment so that this value has to be from here. What if we so whatever is that initial value that can be overridden? How about chaining? So increment is what if we do, but how to get the okay, but this is not needed here. Wait. There has to be something which is coming in here, right? Uh, is this initial value changing here? Is what I'm trying to understand. Because when I call make counter phi, this initial value is it overridden or something? So I'm getting an an. Oh wait, this is not saved. So there is a oh this state, but then they did log it. Oh yeah, so this is going to get overridden by whatever is passed here. So now I can change here. Right. So what we can do is we could do this is so whatever the value is, we are just taking that in the initial. Oh yeah. Uh, let's say let's make this equal to initial value so that and then here this is let's make this as 1, incremented by 1, decrement this by 1, and here set it to reset it again. So now let's clear all. Now if you run this, so now it's getting incremented, right? So this is working. Now what we need to do is uh now what if I run counter.decrement? Is that going to happen anything? So this is still giving me 6. Why? This we are not reading any values. Okay, so oh yeah, I didn't do a console. So am I able to retain the value is what I'm trying to do. Or if I call it individually. Yeah, so the retention is happening because now the closure is working. This closure is there. But now it need to uh chain it as well, right? So I need to chaining is possible when I can only have an object calling an object, right? It should be some sort of object that is returning back. So I'm going to return a reference to this. Maybe that is so that is it is going to. So if it's a function, right, it is going to refer where it has been defined. Maybe by doing that, I'm going to enable chaining to some extent. So if I return this over here, when I increment, first let's clear everything so that we know. So the first thing that I'm getting is okay. So now so I'm returning what's the return value? Oh, so this is referring to that object, I guess. So if I go on here, so yeah, this is this entire object. Okay, so the somehow the now I can try linking with. Let's get rid of. I got wait, now let's because it is going to return. This is counter dot increment, right? The moment I call this is going to return some sort of object, and then I can. So yeah, again, now this is something which I can call back again. What if I do an increment here? This is an increment. Yeah, so let's call it increment. Let's say, oh, what the hell I'm getting here? Increment may not be exist on type. So if I do increment and then I can call something. So because this is already returned, right? So now here this return value is this, and then this dot increment is going to increment it again. So let's see, and then we need to have the final value also being updated, right? So 6 and 5 is what I'm getting. Oh, I didn't say this. So let's clear this thing. So right now nothing is going to get printed, I guess. But what if I need to return the value itself? Chaining is achieved. But then yeah, am I returning? So what am I returning? So I'm going to return a counter object so I'm just going to return the counter object which has these three methods. And then the way these three methods should work is that they should be able to maintain the state and I should be able to change them. Oh, so this should work. Let's see. Let's try running this over here. Let's get rid of this. Let's say this. Alright. Let's run this and see. So expected. The counter dot reset is not a function. Oh, this is a reset. Yeah. First thing I mentioned is a reset here. This has to be reset. Now let's see run. So increment increases. Oh, so expected 1. Now increment increases the counter by 1, so this should increment the counter by 1. What case is it feeling? So, okay, so if when I do console.log of counter.increment, I should get this 6. How am I going to... I need to return both the... This has to come and then the value as well as also has to come. The only way to... So he's saying console counter.increment and then is... wait. Is the return value 6? Uh, yeah, chain. I got this chaining thing. But how am I going to return both of the values? That is... Either I could return that reference or either I can chain, right? Getting the value is something which I'm still not able to understand. So expect to receive, decrement, increment, reset. So I got the way this is, first is decrement, then is increment, and then is reset. So reset is perfect. Let's change this to... Let's have this as decrement. So this is just going to make it... wait. The return is good. This is just minus. This is increment. This isn't going to add it then. So if I call increment, so I have received 3 functions here. How to get that return value? Because if I return this, I need 6 to come out here. The counter should also allow an optional initial value. When I'm not, because this is not passing, right? What could be the case? The reason where I'm stuck is chaining. I went and for chaining I got this, but then this won't be chainable, right? Even if I try chaining this is not going to chain. Or this is optional, but then is he able to change this method? Because in the test case there is no chaining happening. These are all distinct calls. So if I want to change, then I will have this being returned. So okay, we are directly went for this thing. This is an optional. Yeah, I would have to return it something like some counter or something. If I do this, then this will work. They should pass most of the cases. I don't know. So counter plus plus is the same, right? But he didn't tell you that. He didn't mention that there is a. Oh, now if I have that get value thing, that makes sense. Yeah, but he didn't tell anything about get value, right? Create a make counter, increment, decrement, and reset. The counter should maintain its current value and provide these operations. Yeah, so he didn't mention that you have get current value without modifying. Oh, that's okay. That is something. It's almost the same though. It just he has used ternary. I have used, but that shouldn't. Oh, this reset is okay. I can. Okay, then he's. This is. So first I'm calling. Wait. The decrement I have is the spelling same, right? Because but this shouldn't be of. It's the same thing, right? After that operation. And then now let's. Still it's showing me undefined. Wow. Is that. Yeah. If I call this thing, shouldn't this work? Received. Oh, so something has passed. What has passed? I don't know. Why does not it show me the test cases? So expected -3. Expected 10. So if I do. It's the same. I mean. Oh, this was the case that was left. Yes, so this is one part, right? I'm trying when methods are chainable. So in that case, what if we go ahead and we try to implement a chainable method? So like, yeah, this is chainable, right? But then if I need value and so then I have to do something like get value. Then I would have a separate, because I cannot return two things, right? There I can return this, or this is going to make it chainable, I believe. So if I say get value and then I say so return whatever is current is my counter. So now if I say, now if I try running, let's see what happens. I'm not consoling it out, right? Wait, yeah, save. So oh wait, did it run? So I got a function. Then first thing returned me a function. Okay, and then I called. Wait, let's see what is happening here. So I have a counter. Oh, so this dot increase. Oh, yeah. So at the end, I need to call get value. Now you just need to call this. because this is at the last I'm returning this, right, from increment again. So what happened, so for the first time, oh, I passed in 5, so 5 went here 6, this is 7, and then get value. Now what if I decrement this, if I say decrement it once, so now, or let's decrement this twice and then call get value. Yeah, so now if I am passing, I am getting 5. Yeah, this is correct. So this is like, so the way we are maintaining that state is counter, and then we are able to chain is because this is an object that is being returned, right? So once you return an object, you have, uh, I'm going to return the reference. So this is defined over here, right? So when inside this, when I'm in this part, this is referring to the object scope, right? So I'm returning this object itself. So if you just, if I just do this, right, if I don't do get a value, then see an object will be returned back. Yeah. So the retracement of the value is happening here. Making it chainable is, you can chain only an object to an object, right? So now this is an object, so the result of this is an object. So now, uh, just like counter dot something, I can, even this is going to count, even counter is an object, right? Only then you can do chaining. So I have that counter thing here, so even this is going to be an object. So then, yes, that key value pair is working that way. Is, yeah. Okay, so I guess, oh, did I run this? The last one was right, I believe. Oh, I did change something. Oh, the moment you wait, it doesn't show my solution. Oh, my submission, yeah. So you can do it counter -1 as well. That shouldn't make that difference. It was just this thing, and uh, yeah. So the to have this chainable thing, oh, it should be mentioned that you will need an additional method here, because it's practically impossible to get uh, two things, right? Two things returned, you cannot do it in one go. So I guess, yeah, so that was a good example of how you can use closures. Now this is a closure, right? Remember, these are functions. So when functions become objects, so because these function execution is still remaining, this scope is still maintained, right? If it was a block that is just returned, yeah, then nothing would have happened. So yeah, that scope retention is happening because of the closure, and then I'm able to change it because I'm getting returning an object, so we can chain only an object. So yeah, that's all for this session. I hope you guys liked it. I will see you guys in another one. Till that time, take care. Bye bye, and please subscribe to my channel.